All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the Championship Vision podcast. I haven't done a podcast in a while. So when I come back, man, I come back with the best. Episode 328 of the Championship Vision podcast. Hey, this is just a special presentation of our guest speakers. They're going to be coming out May 6th at Duluth High School. You can't beat it. You got two of the best here. And coaches, make sure that I'll be sending out more information. I'll be sending out this video and so forth. We'd definitely love you have you come out to Duluth High School and see just two of these legendary coaches, man. Basketball savants. These guys are brilliant, and they're going to share with you what they're going to be talking about. So, all right, we have Jim Clayton. He's the director of the Sports City U Basketball Academy, and Mike DeVilbiss, legendary coach for many years. In the sport, and he's going to tell you where he's coached and what he's doing now and so forth. So, and my assistant coach, Nick Baines. Nick, welcome. I know we talk every day, but so excited to have you. We're going to actually be having the podcast at Nick Baines, his school, Duluth Middle School. Thank you to Duluth Middle School for hosting the clinic, man. We're really fired up about that. So, but thank you guys. Hey, Jim, talk a little bit first about yourself and talk about your topic a little bit.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Well, I'm a retired educator, or rewired educator, I should say. I taught high school for 40 plus years, and I've coached it at the high school level. My last team I coached was 2007. That was a team that finished second in the country. Now, it's just a local high school. We had O.J. Mayo on that team, Patrick Patterson, who played in the NBA. We had quite a few really, really good teams. We played on ESPN. We won the states 3 years in a row. I love teaching. I coach basketball the same way I taught school. And I started a Sports City U Basketball Academy about 30 years ago. It'll be 31 years in October, before really anybody knew what individual training was. So over that past 30 years, I've developed a curriculum really designed and specifically targeted towards shooting, footwork, creating shots, those types of things, and percentages and everything. So what I'm going to be really bringing to you guys is my jumper system, which I have on right here, which means just more player reps. It's all about reps. I don't care who you are and what you're doing. If you're good at it, you've done it over and over and over again. And so, a lot of people talk about reps, but they talk about doing it wrong. And last time I checked, wrong plus wrong does not produce right. Okay, produce twice as wrong. So people that don't prepare and learn how to do this right now, they spend most of their life in repair. So that's where I come in. I'm a repair specialist. I don't have to check engine light. I have to check jump shot light. Okay, so when that happens, who are you going to turn to? All right, what are you going to do? So, I've broken this thing down into a unique teaching system. The golden nuggets of the key things that I tell people, from pro players to high school players to college players to even down to 5-year-old players. They get the same stuff. They get the footwork. They get it all. They understand what makes things happen. Because, a shot only does 7 things if you don't know. I mean, most people get the first 5 pretty easy. It goes long, it goes short, it misses right, it misses left, it goes in and out. But the last 2 are a little bit tough. One is an inside right miss, which it misses inside the rim, which throws the ball to the left. The other is inside left, which throws the ball to the right. So when you miss those 7 ways, every shot does a miss that way. It's one of those 7. And I'm going to show you exactly what the problem is, exactly the drill to fix it. And then it's up to you to understand it, okay? And then go actually do it. And if you get stumped, you just send a video to me. I got players send me videos every day. Coach, I'm doing this, but it don't feel right. I said, that's because it's wrong. Okay, so here's how you're going to fix it. So that's what we do. So when you leave this clinic, here's the thing. You're going to be able to look and see things, why the team misses at the rim, why they miss the mid-range, why they can't shoot foul shots, why they can't throw it in the ocean if they're standing on the beach, okay? They're going to know all these answers, because if you don't know how to fix something, you can't fix it. All right, so I'm going to show you all the little things, because it's really about little things. If you don't pay attention to the little things, my theory is don't worry about the big ones, because they ain't going to happen. All right. So I'm going to teach you everything from the footwork to the finish, from the foul shot to the jump shot to the 3-point shot to the pull up to the floater to the slide to the fit. I'm going to show you all the 7 most shots that all the players take in the game. I have this thing broken down so small. Okay. And it doesn't matter. You can put this into any offense. Okay. Because I always tell people this, Coach, you're going to talk about this, Coach Mike. Would you rather have good plays or good players? I'd rather have, I mean, good players can make good plays. They can run stuff. They can create. Okay. Instead of playing with like their handcuffs on, whether you have to coach every possession of every game. It's ugly. It's boring. It's not exciting. No. And I've created a game that nobody's ever seen. And the game's called sudden change. And sudden change is an old football term, which means offense to defense, defense to offense. So in this sudden change game, other than ping pong, basketball is about the fastest game that changes from offense to defense. So I've created this game where I can change the format. I can change the half court to full court, both. And these players have to make decisions on the fly. In a game, they might make 200 or 300 or 20 to 30 decisions. In an hour game in this league, they're going to make 200 to 300 decisions. So I always say this, we talk about offense, we talk about shooting, we talk about footwork, defense, passing. The number one skill nobody talks about is thinking. Thinking is a skill, and nobody ever talks about that. You know what I mean? That's on one of my t-shirts. Thinking is a skill, okay? And so I put them in this situation. The scores are always like 170 to 169. I mean, they're scoring like you ain't never seen. And the players love to play it because it puts them in scoring positions so fast that they can't talk themselves out of it. Okay, they just do it. Like, I mean, it's automatic. And that's what you really want out of your players, is to do things without you having to tell them. Okay, they can just see it, do it, recognize it. So to get back to wrapping it up on here, here's the way I teach it. It's pretty simple. And this is how I taught school. Here's what we're learning today. Gotcha, Coach. Here's why we're learning. Gotcha, Coach. And here's how you're going to use it in your game. That's it. That's exactly how I taught school. Here's how you're learning. You're going to use it in your life. Well, outside of basketball, you can do the same thing. And that's how I do it. So they don't sit there and go, why am I learning this? I'm never going to use this. I've already beat them at their own game. I already know what's going to happen before it happens. You know, when you've been doing this as long as we've been doing it, you know it. You see it. You know it. You beat them at your own game. So if you want your team to be better offensively, which most coaches do, they don't really know how to make you better offensively. Playing games ain't going to make you better offensively. You can't score. Right. So that's what I'm going to be teaching. And I'm going to take that AAU team of yours, Coach Nick, and they're just going to be, at the end of the deal, you're going to say, I don't even recognize you guys. Man, okay, you're killing. And plus it also really does wonders for their confidence levels. Okay, because I don't care if you make a mistake. Failure and success are not opposites. They run side by side down the game of life. And you can't have one without the other. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna change them for the better right in front of your eyeballs. Okay. And these are things that this system, it's taken 40 years to do it, or 30 plus years. I've been doing it before I actually started the academy, but I'm constantly trying to change, make it better. I'm trying to sharpen my craft. And that's what I would send out to these coaches that are sitting at home thinking they're YouTube coaches. When's the last time you sharpened your craft? You want your players to do all this stuff, but how come you don't do it? Last time I checked, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Okay. If the leader's weak, the pack's weaker. All right. So what are you doing, Coach, to make yourself better? All right. You got to be the man in the mirror. People do what people see. And so that's what I'm going to be bringing to Georgia to show you this system. That's right. And we're going to put it all together, and people are just going to go, man, I never even thought about that. That's the whole key. I'm going to make you think things and write things down. You're going to see stuff you've never seen before in your life right in front of you.
Coach, I agree with so many things that you just said. I got to hear a couple things from you. I got a couple questions because you very rarely hear anybody talk about building mental quickness. You can overcome a lot of physical slowness with mental quickness if you understand and know you've had enough repetition to not have to think about executing the fundamentals that you have to execute. And I would like to, Coach Knight said a long time ago, and I want to hear your thoughts on these two things. He said that the mental is to physical as 4 is to 1, and that transition basketball is the most important thing in the game. And I think he confused a lot of people when he said transition basketball, because I think most people that heard him thought he was talking about going from offense to defense. And I personally think he was talking about all the mental transitions that go on within a single possession. Like on defense, going to be a ball side defender to on-ball defender to a help side defender, to have to help and recover, or whatever you do in your system, defend a ball screen to jump to the ball again, all in like 6 seconds.
Oh, yeah. There's no question. You nailed it right there. I did a sequence the other day where I just came down the court. I made a move, crossover move from right to left, went in, shot a shot. I said, now, those of you just watched that. That took about 3 seconds, and you watched it. And let me tell you what just really happened in those 3 seconds. Okay. That was I had the correct handles. I had the correct footwork. I had the correct body position. I created the strides. My dribbles matched my footwork. I was in tempo. I was in sync. I lifted. I released. I finished at 1 o'clock, and the ball went right in the hole. Now, how many of you saw all those things happen? How many of you could name all those things that just happened? None of you. So don't even try. Okay. But see, they're going like, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? So it's here, man. It's like nobody works on thinking. You're
Coach,
so right.
would you give me a sample, like, of what you teach? Just a little sample on your footwork, because like one of the things that you talked about was little things. I don't think there are little. I think little things are big things. I think the detail and teams that are willing to execute the detail of the smallest fundamental, they achieve much more than people that don't think that they have to teach these little things, like catch the ball with your feet in the air, work from triple threat, pass the ball with your feet on the floor. Are any of you getting tired of watching the NBA and all the charges that are getting called after the ball gets passed because no one will do a jump stop?
Well, they don't stop. They have no footwork.
Yeah, they don't jump stop. Cost Kevin Johnson and the Phoenix Suns an NBA championship because he didn't know how to do a jump stop. He went one dribble too many, and Horace Grant pinned it on the board, or they'd have beaten the Bulls in 6.
Oh, no question.
Talk to us a little bit about your footwork and some things.
Okay. Okay. So here's kind of some of the things I talk about in footwork. Your footwork has to match your movement. So, for example, if I'm going right to left and I'm pulling up on a 2 dribble, my footwork should be right left. Okay. So when I'm coming from right to left, that's an inside pivot, also known as an inside pivot, and vice versa, left to right. Okay. Well, the people that don't have those dribbles matching their dribbles and their footwork don't match, which means they're out of rhythm. I said, you're like an AFib shooter. You're out of rhythm, man. I said, you're going to have to get in rhythm here. Okay. So they don't know how to get in rhythm. They don't know how to match the dribbles with the footwork. They're dribbling behind themselves and over and all that stuff. And I said, here's the deal on offensive moves and footwork. There's a million ways that traders can teach you how to create a shot. But here's the missing ingredient, okay? Every dribble move, all right? And I teach this. When we step over to 3, to attack, you need to be able to score off 1 or 2 dribbles max, not 3 or 4 or 5 dribbles inside that 3-point line.
Right.
So we teach a lot of that stuff, you know what I mean? But the most important footwork and step comes on the last dribble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important one. Guess which one everybody messes up?
The last
dribble. So the moral to the story is you're not working on the most important thing that sets your shot up. Your footwork is your foundation of your game. So for example, I use this in passing. Most turnovers in players like high school, even college, they occur going right to left if you're a right-hand player, because all players step with their right foot and throw with their right hand going left, which means you're throwing to the inside of the defense. Now you watch these guys now, the good ones, they can step with their left foot, step out and make that pass with one hand. I mean, it's so fast, it's unbelievable. But the average player, they don't do that. They throw the ball to the defense. And the coach goes, we don't pass the ball well. I said, well, coach, when's the last time you worked on passing? No, we don't ever work on it. That could be a problem. Okay. I mean, that could be a problem. So we spend so much time on footwork. I have taken this system, coach, and I've developed it into numbers. So for example, if I say a 31 right, that means 3 steps, 1 dribble. So if I'm a right-handed player and I'm coming down in transition and I'm going to pull up really quick on my jump shot, it comes down, if you watch the best players, it comes down to a right, left, right, elevate. If I go 31 left, I'm dribbling with my left hand. If I go 42 right, that's a 4-step 2 dribble move. 42 left, so I've got it off. They know exactly the dribbles and what they're going to do. So they learned how to match this. So it's a system. So you give them this is what we're working on. Well, when are we going to use this? When you make this move, when you make give me your go-to move. Okay, here it is. Okay, stop. What's going to happen next? I got to take that dribble. There's what's going to happen. This is how it's going to play right into your shot. See, nobody ever really works on that kind of stuff. They're not ready. They're not shot ready. Their hands ain't ready. They're just getting ready. And I said, if you're not ready, don't shoot. Yeah. And so the footwork, we spend a lot of time on footwork because, a lot of the footwork problems are the result of bad dribble problems on the last 1 or 2 bounces, preferably the last bounce. They let the ball go from behind and front to behind, which raises your shoulders up. Your shoulders are 35% of your shot. Okay. But if your shoulders come up before the ball's down and you're up. So now you ain't ready to shoot. You're going to shoot short every time. Every time it's going to be short. And I say, if it's short, it's got no chance. So give it a chance. We got to give it a chance. Give it a chance. So in this gym, the clock is always set on 1 o'clock, not 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
3 o'clock is a good time to get out of school, not a good time to shoot. Okay. That's what we talk about. And these kids know this stuff and they know what the number one problem is. And it's simple stuff that once I show you, you'll go, why did I not see that? And then you're going to watch all these players. Why do players shoot with 2 hands? There's only one reason why they shoot with 2 hands. You watch them. I'm going to show you exactly what causes the problem and exactly how to fix it. And it don't matter what level you are. Okay. It's still the same problem. And, and here's the other thing I'll tell you. When's the last time you heard new terminology in the game of basketball? Think about that for a second. New terminology. I'll give you one. This is a new terminology for me. Okay. It's called middle perfect. Middle perfect is the center of a circle, a sphere. Okay. That's called the focus in geometry. When we shoot the ball, where are we trying to hit it? Middle what? Perfect. Also known as the swish, right? Middle perfect. There's going to be a middle perfect of a golf hole, of a golf. I mean, it don't matter what, there's going to be that perfect. So I don't say switch. I say, let's hit middle perfect. The greatest shooters are the straightest shooters. Hit the line. They know what that is. That's a middle perfect shot. And they go, well, I like it. I know what middle perfect means. Okay. And see, I just come up, my brain thinks a little different than most people. I don't look at what is, I think about what isn't and what needs to change. So, there's things out there changing every day in every walk of life. We don't know it till we see it, but then we see it, we go, I like that. I got to have it. Okay. Well, that's what we got to get to as coaches. Okay. We got to train these guys. I mean, I watched the NBA draft last year and they talked about the first 5 players. They said the same thing about the first 5 players. Well, he really needs to work on his jump shot. He needs to work on that mid-range. He needs to work on it. They said, shot. I said, how do you become the top 5 players in the NBA draft? And they're talking about your shooting. Because they've all gotten away with it because they've been bigger, better, stronger, more athletic. And then they're going to meet their match. And guess what? It don't work anymore. It don't work anymore. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to fix all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you how to fix it in a quick way, simple, easy. And when you miss, I'm going to say, why'd it go that way? Because I did this. What are you going to do to fix it? I'm going to do this. Okay, let's go.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah, for sure, Jim. Yes.
And they can self-adjust in the game. How many players, you talk about the middle part, Coach Mike, they can't self-adjust in the game.
Yeah.
So their theory is, well, I just ain't going to shoot. Well, guess what? You ain't never going to make it. You don't shoot, you ain't making it. So
miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
You're going to miss every one of them suckers, okay? So, it's just, I say this stuff every day like a broken record. And these kids that I train, they're not all the best players, athletic wise, speed wise stuff, but by God, they're pretty well.
Yeah.
Hard.
Good.
And they know how to use their bodies. I mean, Larry Bird wasn't the fastest dude ever to run down the court either. But it's like, you talk about playing fast and doing this. You can move the ball up down the court fast, but that don't mean you got to go fast. I told these kids yesterday in the game, I said, you ever watch a pro game, really good high school? They play like, it looks like they're almost in slow motion at times. And then all of a sudden, bang, they hit that move and what happened? What happened? They just lured you in, then they hooked you right there, man. And these kids think, I said, you guys play like you drank 12 bottles of Mountain Dew. You're just like all over the place. And I said, you play better when you get tired. Then you slow down a little bit.
It's like Coach Wooden said, be quick, but don't hurry.
That's exactly right. I say be quick, but don't rush. Same thing, just change the verbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, can I ask you a question really quick? Because I know Mike, you're gonna talk about 3 of your lessons that you're gonna have at the clinic, man. It's gonna be awesome. Hey, Jim, can you show us? Remember our podcast we had? You showed me your teaching methods on your court. Before we go in the mic, can you show us on the camera your gym a little bit so the coaches can see how cool it is, man?
Yeah, let me see if I can flip this thing around now. Okay, did I flip it around? I don't know what I did. Okay, hold on. I'm back. I'm just trying to see how I can flip the camera. That's the biggest thing.
You and I are the same age, Coach.
I got you,
We
man.
don't come from this world.
I'm gonna
We don't
find
come
this
from
thing
this
now.
world.
Oh, here we go. No, I had it. Here we go.
I'm happy
Okay,
if I
there
can
we
cut
go.
and paste.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, now this is my wall. Now, if you look at the wall, I've taken a wall that nobody uses and I've created 6-foot rims. I've created 8-foot
like it.
rims and I've created 10-foot rims. So
That's
we
pretty
do
cool.
a lot of things where I'll take a goal, like these are just wall brackets that you just
Yeah.
put in your gym. They can go like under, I'm gonna put this in if I can get it in here real quick. Bear with me just a second. I'll show you. So this is like my 6 foot. And then I'll do a drill where I'll shoot here, then we'll go here. Then we'll go here. I call it inverted shooting, which means it's kind of like going from the putting surface to the mid, you know what I mean, all the way up. And it's about teaching touch and technique. Now these lines, this is a line. It looks like in here that I have a OD'd on tape or something. You know what I mean? I just got tape everywhere. But it's really a blueprint. This line is what I call an eye line. And it's right in line with the vertical line on the rim. Now, what it does is it steers players to the perfect angle. So what happens is when you miss, a lot of times people will push you wide of the eye line, which creates a bad angle. Or they'll push you inside the eye line and then you'll shoot it and it'll come right back to you. So we got these things. These are L's. This is my 31 system. This is my runway. It goes right down the middle. And if you look up at the rim, there's a white piece of tape on the rim. That's my shot line. So it comes straight down, straight in. You're going to see this. And these are the angles that I bounce off of on ball reversals, on this arrow. So they know how to use all these angles. They got X's on the court, white X's, yellow X's. These are where they're going to make transition moves. Okay. And you see it's on every basket. So this is like an inside of one part of my gym. The other side's the weight room and everything over there. So that's kind of what goes on in here. So you see, I got all the lines. You can see the straight lines.
Yeah.
Now, my goal was to originally make this a rollout mat that I could put it at every angle so players could learn the angles. The other cool thing is I've got codes on the rim. I don't know if you can see those, but I got green. So I tell them, learn the codes. So the code green and code white are lined up right with the vertical line on the backboard. So if I'm on the right side of the court, that left vertical box is dead center of the rim. I call that middle purple. So they're learning the codes. I got tired of the players saying, what are you looking at? They go, the basket. I said, I'm not interested in the basket. I'm interested in where exactly you're looking. So I gave them a visual. That was like a 3 o'clock in the morning, wake up with an idea type thing. You could use any code you want. You know, I got them in the corners. So you can see most players don't even know that the fat lip of a breakaway rim is dead center of the rim from the corner. They don't even know that's a visual right there for them to line up on. They have no clue about that. Okay, but see, I put the tape up there. So I say, we're code green and yellow. Well, look right in the middle of that. There's that fat lip. So I just give them visuals. Then I
like that.
Then I go over here. This is like my viewing room. See, these the parents, they sit in here. They never come on the court. They never come out on the court.
Hey, last time I didn't see that, Jim. You didn't show me that last time.
Oh yeah, see, then here's my weight room. See, this is another gym over here. That's got all the weights, the boxes. It's got everything you could think of in here. So I could train a whole team from vertical jumping to moves to transitions to anything that you need. You know what I mean? Yeah, the parents, the cool part about this is the parents sit right here and they look right here. So they never come out on this court. I never hear a parent say one stinking word. Okay. I want total focus. I ain't interested in your mom and dad. Thank good they paid for it, but I'm interested in you. So I just cut you out of the picture. You know what I mean? Right there.
Good
And that's
for
kind of
you.
how so it's kind of a unique gym.
It
Because
really is.
I got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, and 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 20. I got 29 goals in here.
Yeah.
And then I got this one. Now here's the kicker to it. Let me show you this one. Nobody's seen this one. Now, nobody's seen this. Okay. This is the killer one. It's my 3 basket with no backboard. Now you see it? Now what I
Yeah.
do is I roll it out and I put it at half court. And I use that shot when players are going to play in big arenas where they got backgrounds, not like a high school gym where the background's right behind you. So
Yeah.
now they're working on depth perception and there's no backboard. So guess what? You got to make it. You got a middle perfect that sucker. It's going over. So those are just things that I've done over the years, you know what I mean, to try to make it easier. And then when I come down there, I'll put the blueprint on your court, coach.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, coach. Make sure you bring it. Yeah.
Oh, I could slap that blueprint down in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Nick's going to want to keep it there, though.
You can you watch players that know what they're doing here and they know how to create the perfect angles, to create the perfect shots. Now they didn't know it when they came, but over the years of doing it and working on it, and then you go watch him in a game and I go, did you just see what that player just did? Yeah, he made a shot. Did you see what he did? No, I didn't see. I didn't see. You don't know what you're looking for. They don't even know what they're looking for. So, it's just like, I'm one of these guys. I don't know why I do it. I don't know how I do it. I just see the stuff that nobody sees. And I just go, well, why are they doing that? Then I figure out why they're doing it. You know what I mean? Then I know how to fix it. And now I figured out, I pretty much got it all down. Now there ain't one person that can show me something I ain't seen. I got it all.
Right.
I can tell you anybody in 5 seconds. I can tell you what's going on with your shot in 5 seconds. If I don't know you from Adam, I say, here it is. So that's what these coaches are going to get. Now, the crazy part about that is, who really wants to know that is the players.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a heck of a lot more players than there are coaches.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you. So the players are really missing out because the coaches ain't further in their education to be able to teach it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I totally agree.
If you can't do it, you can't teach it. So if I'm trying to teach calculus, here's how I'm going to teach calculus. Open to page 1, do the problems. And they go, well, you ain't taught us nothing. I'm not going to teach you nothing because I don't know anything about it. Somebody in this room will figure out how to do it. Somebody will figure it out. And that'll be, there's always one person that figures it out. Well, guess what? That's the one guy that makes it to the NBA. That's the one guy out of 300 million people that make it to the NBA. That's the one guy.
Jim, thank you, man. That's awesome. Hey, man, and coaches, and I'm telling you, man, I think more than anything, you need to be in the stands checking out Jim in person. And I'm really strongly emphasizing that. Come out and learn an innovative way to teach shooting, man. I don't think we do enough of that. Jim, you
don't see that very much. You don't see that on YouTube very much. You see all dribbles. Everybody's teaching you how to dribble every kind of dribble move in the world, but they can't teach you how to do that shoot because then you have to actually shoot to see it. Okay. Right. And it's just, it's a mess. The system is, there's no real system that people can teach that actually works.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Hey, Mike, man, we're so excited to have you. I'm a great, I see one thing, I consider Mike like a brother and a friend. We've talked so many times and we never met in person. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see Mike D, man, coming down to Georgia, man. And I think, and Mike, I'm really serious about this. I've spoken to so many people, and so many people have said that guy he just knows the game, man. And I know you're not going to admit that, but you're going to come down, talk about your whole defensive system, your offensive system. And what people don't realize is I have your mini clinics video here that I bought many years ago that you're a great fundamentalist too. So
Thank
Mike
you.
DeVille was take it away, man.
Well, thank you, Kevin. That's really nice. Coach Jim, he's got a system. One of the things that I think is really important is that you have a specific way you're going to teach kids how to play. You know, one of the beautiful things about our game is there's a bunch of different ways to do it, you know, and excel at it, you know, different systems, different ways of shooting, not too much shooting the ball, but different ways of footwork. Like, are you a 1-2 shooter? Are you off the hop? Are you a step into your shot? You know, all those things. And with some of that stuff, I don't really care as long as you got away. You know, it's the same every time, you know. Like I feel really blessed. Thanks about your comment about the fundamentals, but that wasn't me. It wasn't me. I got to learn from some of the best. Well, Krzyzewski called Don Meyer and Coach Krause the best teachers of the game in the history of our game. And I feel really blessed to have gotten to learn from them and work camp early in my coaching career. And I was a grad assistant at Eastern Washington, and Coach Krause was my grad school advisor. And Coach Meyer and he and Fred Litzenberger, by the second summer I was there, I was master teaching all the stuff I had learned the first summer. You know, catch the ball with your feet in the air. You know, like I'll give you one example on the fundamental piece. And there's a ton of coaches, and Coach Jim's talking about this. You know, coaches will tell kids all the time, you got to be tougher with a basketball. And I'll ask campers or kids, if I'm talking in front of a team, how many of you, your coach has told you need to be tougher with a basketball? Every hand goes up, right? Because they all turn the thing over too much. Okay, well, coach tell you after that, how do you be tougher with the ball? See, this drove me crazy as a player, because I would play against Dick Bennett's teams when he was at Stevens Point, and I was playing at Winona State. And I knew those kids at Stevens Point were learning something I wasn't. They were learning the game. And this defensive system that Dick had, the old initial, the VHS he put out on a pressure defensive system.
Yeah, I got it.
Jim, I bet he remembers that too. And I knew that I played against that. That's the freaking hardest thing I ever played against. Well, I ran nothing but that my whole career. That and the buzz, and then defensively. And then but and when I went to Eastern, I started learning these fundamentals and this stuff. And I'm like, this is it. This is the game. This is all the stuff I was craving as a player that I wish I'd have learned. Like how to be tougher with a basketball. Well, there's 5 things. If you do these 5 things, you're going to be tougher with the ball. And they're not difficult. Number 1 is catch the ball with your feet in the air, because we want to use our permanent pivot foot. If I'm a right-handed shooter, it's always our left. If I'm a left-handed shooter, it's always our right. So we catch the ball with our feet in the air. Number 2, you work from triple threat. You must keep that wrist locked and cocked. If you don't keep that wrist locked and cocked, you're going to get floppy and weak with the ball. It's going to get taken away from you. The third thing is fake a pass, make a pass. You know, like Coach was saying, cross the body passes all the time. Well, if you're going to pass to the left, you step across your body and pass with your left hand, because your left foot's your pivot foot. If you're going to pass out to the right, you step to the right. You don't give that defender an angle. You got to teach that. Fake a pass, make a pass. Pass with your feet on the floor, which we can't get NBA guys to do right now. I'm tired of watching these Chargers after passes and costing their team threes. Count. There's 3 games on the night. Count how many times that happens in one night. 3 games. I'll bet you it's 15. And then the last concept is play with an easy pass mentality. not a thread the needle, assist pass mentality, but pass with an easy pass mentality. If you teach kids those 5 things, they're going to be tougher with the basketball. And so that's the detail I think coach was talking about a second ago. And being able to teach in a sequence with expectation and little things aren't little. They're details that matter and take you to another level. And let me just say, I was really fortunate that I got to learn from the best teachers of coaches in the history of the game. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And the one thing I will give myself a little credit for is being smart enough to know that this is pretty good stuff and I better friggin' figure it out and figure out how to teach it, you know? And the one thing I would say is I think most people that have learned from Coach Meyer, Coach Litzenberger, and Coach Kraus, I know a lot of coaches out here in the West that have learned from them. Almost every one of them has been extremely successful in their coaching careers. Every one of them. And so, because I'd see them all at camp. They'd all come back to camp every summer, and Dan Hayes, when he was coaching Oklahoma Christian, Litz, when he coached Oregon with Ridenour and Jackson and those guys, and when he was helping Ernie Kent, and I mean, it's all that stuff. That's what all of it is. Rob Rob was Luke's dad, but Luke carved out a pretty good NBA career with all those fundamentals, and I just think they're really, really important to the game, really important. So,
yeah. Hey, Mike, I know I basically run your defensive system on that. I've told you that. We run, as Nick knows, we run what we call, we run buzz a lot. Buzz to me is just a great half court, take the teams out of their offensive sets. We use the matchup we call 11s, kind of our 1-1-3 matchup zone.
yeah.
We press 2-2-1, and then we force left on our man-to-man defense, and we just get after teams that we're.
Yeah.
But talk about what you're going to bring to the table on May 6th with really those your defensive system.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, I think you have to have an aggressive mindset to be a buzz coach. I think if you're a safe coach and you're always working, let me say it like this. If you can't stand the 2 layups you give up in 15 possessions to get 30 more shots than your opponent every game, and to have 20 fewer turnovers and to have 15 more steals than your opponents, but you can't stand those 2 layups you gave up, then you can't run this. You have to recognize we're going to give up some layups. We're going to make some mistakes. We're going to have some breakdowns, but it's this, I think you have to have this eye for what are we creating in the offense we're playing against? We're going to wear you down. You can't execute that 75, 80, 100 possessions a game. We're going to make you do that 100 times because offensively, we're going to run. We're going to go. I want to go. I want to play fast. I think there has to be, like it or not, I think there has to be a fun quotient in the game right now with the kids that you're coaching. And if it ain't fun, they ain't going to play. They ain't going to do it. They're not going to grind out possession after possession and make 10 passes and make 4 screens and swing the ball side, top, side 6 times in a possession. They ain't going to do it. Now, the fact that Tony can get him to do it at Virginia says a hell of a lot about his ability to coach. He's really good. That isn't the norm. That isn't the norm. And I think you have to find a way to, people talk all the time about have kids changed, do coaches change? I think kids are always changing. Parents change the most. They've just gone off the rails. They're all, almost all of them are lawnmower parents. They ain't even helicopter parents anymore. They're lawnmower. They'll drive right over you.
Out there, coach. That's why I got that wind out there, so they can't come out.
That's right.
I like
Get
it.
locked up there.
I wish I'd have had that at Illinois. I wish I'd have had that. And
hey, I'm going to install that at Commerce.
Right.
Come out, man. Lock them out. Lock
them out.
I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, they forget they live so much. Some of them live through their own children, and the kids don't produce, so it's got to be somebody's fault,
That's right.
So, but anyway, I think you got to have some fun, and I think we're going to make you do that. The buzz is really fun because the first thing I'm going to tell you, if you see, like for me, man-to-man defense, it is such a hard teach because you have to be in the exact right place based on where the ball is in relationship to your player every time the ball moves. Well, at Green Bay, we added the switching to it and ball pressure and push it where we want it to go. We only give it one way to go once it gets to the wing. And we set the third lowest mark in the history of women's basketball for points allowed per game. And we were trying to run, you know, but those kids would grind out whatever we asked them to do. They were hard-nosed, tough kids, like my kids at Lewis Clark State were. They just play really hard. But I think that's hard to get kids to do anymore. The buzz, the first thing I tell them, and I'll tell them that in the clinic is there's no rules in this, except don't fly around and don't play hard. You're going to look stupid. If you don't fly around and you don't play hard, you're going to look stupid and you ain't going to get to play. The buzzer's going to go off and someone's going to play for you. But all you got to do is play hard. You get to lunge, you get to try to steal. But if you're one of those safe kids and you watch the ball get passed 10 times and skip pass in front of you, you can't run this. You don't get to play in this system. And kids like that kind of freedom. You know, Coach was talking a little bit ago about offensive freedom. You can have all kinds of offensive and defensive freedom if you teach them the fundamentals and how to play and teach them how to make decisions quickly. And that's what the buzz does. The buzz, so I told someone the other day, right now I'm currently working for Dan Tudor, Collegiate Strategies, and we teach and consult college coaches on recruiting. And so I'm talking to coaches every day. I have the whole Western region of the country. And I'm talking to college coaches every day. And, you know, so I'm getting some insight into coaching that I really like. But it's interesting. I was telling a coach the other day that 12 of the 30 teams I coached played for national championships, either NCAA Division I national championships or NAI national championships. In the NAI, we made three Elite Eights and a Final Four. And in the NCAA, we made 3 second rounds and a Sweet 16. And almost every one of those national tournament wins was because of the buzz. Almost every one. And there's so many high school teams running the buzz nationwide right now. And I get feedback from them all the time. There's so many that are running it and really having a lot of success. It's really, if you're an innovator, if you like innovation and change and something different, you'll love the buzz as a coach. I hated playing against it. I didn't invent it, but the guy who I saw it from first is a guy that used to be the coach at Portland on the women's side. And then the second time I saw it was from Aki Hill, who was the women's coach at Oregon State, but she was also Japan's national team coach. And we played against it, but we were really good teams at Eastern Washington. And I didn't, one of those teams played in the NCAA tournament at Oregon in the first round. And I didn't really recognize the benefit of it until I lost to it again. Dave's team, Dave Olmstead, was a coach at Portland. Well, then he took a little NAI job in Forest Grove, Oregon at Pacific College. And lo and behold, we turned the dang thing over 40 times playing against it. And there's no way they should have never even been in a game with us. And it was hard to play against, really hard. I'm like, enough of this. I'm going to find out what this is. And then to win an NAI national championship, when I was in the NAI and my teams were, and you had to be able to play against the buzz because Oklahoma City was running it. Finkbeiner was running it at Southern Mass. And then people ran their own little version of it. I think the way I run it is quite a bit more aggressive than the way Jerry ran it. He called it the Twilight. It was a little lower and wider with the guards, and that worked great for him. You know, he had a Stu Engi in the middle at 6'4" and was a 10-time WNBA and ABL professional player, so she was pretty good. That made a difference, but still, it's hard to play against, and the kids love playing it. So the two pluses are it's really hard to play against, and your kids love you because they love the freedom and they love to play hard if they have the right structure, you know. So that's kind of what the buzz is. And I think I've been really effective teaching the buzz, partly because Litzenberger, when I was at Eastern, taught me the Fresno matchup because he had been Boyd Grant's assistant at Fresno. And then they ran it again after the 2 years we were together at Eastern. He went with Boyd to Colorado State when Boyd came out of retirement, and they ran it there. And my first 2 years of coaching at Lewis Clark State, that's all I ran was the matchup. I didn't play any man-to-man because I didn't feel I was very good at teaching it yet. And then Coach Meyer taught me with his tapes and through talking with him, and that really helped my man-to-man defense. But we ran nothing but Fresno matchup for 2 years and had won 16 the first year and 25 the next. And I bet you we didn't play 10 possessions of man-to-man defense or anything the first 2 years. Ran a little bit of 2-2-1 back to it, but I think if you have an aggressive mindset, you want your kids to have fun, enjoy playing the game, and you want to win on a really high level, the buzz is for you. If you've got a bunch of kids that are really athletic and not very skilled, now they'll be way more skilled after they use coach's stuff, but where you learn Coach Meyer's system, but you score a lot of points in transition running the buzz and force a lot of bad shots. And if you got some athletes that can rebound and run, you're going to win a lot of games, whether you can shoot a lick or not, because you aren't going to play against 5-set defenders very often.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mike. And we and coaches, man, you got to come out and see Mike DeVilbiss teach it step by step, man. If you're not there, I mean, really, it's a mistake. Mike, thank you for sharing that. Hey,
Yeah.
Nick, Coach Nick, ask Jim and Mike, do you have any questions for, because hey, he's my host, man. He's going to be hosting it. So you have any questions for Jim or Mike?
I'm just very excited to actually see the person that, is the master at buzz, teach it to my young boys, and to see some shooting forms and different things like that in the clinic. I'm just very excited about it all.
How old are the kids, Nick?
They are 14 and 15.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes.
That'll be good.
Hey, Coach
Yes,
Mike,
yes.
Coach Mike, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm an offensive coach, but I back when I coached, I did like defense. I heard Don Meyer twice at Nike clinics, that I was speaking at, and I took probably 30 or 40 pages of notes,
Yeah.
of everything that he took, everything he said. And
Yeah.
I remember I had a boy that worked for me that played at Lipscomb University years ago.
Who was that?
I can't think of his name right out of the gate. He was a center for them, and he worked for me. And we were talking about posts and stuff. He said, "I'm gonna tell you, the best post move is no move."
No move.
I
Catch and
said,
shoot.
"That's where," he said, "That's Coach Meyer. That's what he told me." And so
Yeah.
I'm
There's
looking.
no move.
Like I said, I teach a lot of offense, but I really like defense. I mean, people say you just teach offense, you don't teach defense. I go, no, that's not true. Okay, but it's hard. It's hard to get just kids in the gym and say, okay, we're just going to work on defense. But
Yeah.
my brain's already thinking. See, my brain's circulating here. I've heard about this defense, and I've actually seen bits and pieces of some tape on it, but I've never seen it actually broke down from start. This is what we're going to do day one to this. Because I like sequences, like you said. I like to put it on in a connector where it's like Lego, just connects together. And so my question is, with pretty good players, how long does it take? I mean, is it something that you can see results really quick when you put it in, like real fast, you see results?
Yeah. So some of it depends on your players. Now,
Right.
the Green Bay kids, their basketball IQ is off the chart. Off the chart. And I thought I had some smart basketball players at Lewis Clark State. Man, the kids at Green Bay were at another level. We only practiced it for about 15 or 20 minutes every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks.
Really?
That was it.
In my brain, I'm trying to think about what you're going to teach.
Because
my
the
brain
more they think,
can't grasp it. So I'm just so
yeah,
excited.
the more they
Watch.
think, the slower their feet get. I don't want them overthinking.
I
And
got
you'll
you.
see it in them. Stop, we're done. Like the second rule I give them, the first one is if you don't fly around, you don't play hard, you're going to look stupid. You're going to be out. The second rule is there are no questions. No questions. No questions, because then you start thinking, just play, play. And now the other thing is I want them to fix some of the adjustments that I've made through the years with the buzz based on what offense is doing. I've learned from the kids because I won't fix stuff for them. I won't fix possessions for them. Third rule is don't get beat the same way twice in a row. Okay. So I might take a timeout and say, how are they trying to beat the buzz? Well, they're going point, wing, skip, then corner for a 3. Well, why are they getting to skip the ball? Why aren't we stealing that? If you know where it's going, why are you coming up and guarding the wing on the skip pass when you know they're going to throw it over your head to the corner? Don't freaking go up there. Make that wing drive it. But I don't like doing that. I want them to figure that out on their own. Don't get beat the same way twice in a row. So they get to make they have to make decisions on their own and adjust on the fly. And man, when they start doing that, it goes to a whole nother level.
Watch it. I'm trying to visualize how you're going to do this, and I can't really go there, but I'm super stoked to see, man. I'll be right now because I'm gonna come back. By God, I'm gonna teach it. I'm gonna teach. We're gonna teach.
You'll like it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Hey, did you coach a guy at Louisville named Eric Lottenbach?
Eric,
Eric Lottenbach. He
I
ended
know
up.
the name. How do I know that name?
He was he took Ed Jenkins' place at Nike as the director of sports marketing.
Was he at Northwestern Nazarene?
I don't know where, but I know he played at Lewis Clark. I know because he lives in Portland. He was out there.
Oh, that's Lewis and Clark College.
Oh, okay, I got it mixed
Yeah,
up. Okay.
that's the private school in Portland. We're in Lewis Clark State's in Lewiston, Idaho.
I got you. No, different. Oh, okay, I got you. You. Wrong state.
2 different worlds. One's private, one's a state school, and yeah.
I can't wait to watch it. I mean,
it'll be fun. I'm anxious to watch what you're going to do too, Coach.
I'm starving. I'm always starving for new stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing the same old.
Yeah.
Don't work. That is just like I said. It's. I mean, when I watch a basketball game, I'm muted because I don't even want to hear them guys.
I don't want it. I do too. One of the things I would share with everybody listening is we were all talking before we hit record about the state of the game right now and coaches, and I think one of the things, I think we were all in agreement about this, that today's coaches are missing out on opportunities to network and watch other people coach. I think with the early signing period and the advent of the AAU programs, the basketball camps at the schools all went by the wayside, and I think that was such a tremendous learning opportunity for coaches, to be young coaches in particular, but even older coaches, to come and watch and work camp and watch other people teach the game to their kids and their style of coaching, things they react to, things they don't in a live coaching situation. And going to clinics, because you get a great chance to network and meet coaches and just hear other ways to do things. And I think that's so valuable. And if you're going to coach for a long, long period of time, I think, Coach Wooden said a long time ago, if you're done learning, you're done. And you've got to keep an open mind and be willing to learn. And I think if you're going to be a great coach for a long, long period of time, you have to grow with the game. And the game's constantly changing. There's new ways to do. Some of it gets just reboxed up. It's the same stuff that they used 30 years ago, but it's changed the name or the terminology's changed or different things like that. But one other thing I would say about the buzz too is we talk about scouting and stuff all the time. And one of the things for me, I don't like trying to teach my team to guard 45 plays. We were playing Bill's team at Iowa State in the second round one year after we beat Virginia.
Bill Finley. Bill Finley.
Bill Finley, yep.
Yeah.
Who I adore. Bill's a great coach, done a great job, had a tremendous career. Bill loves his sets. He loves all his sets out of the 1-4. And so the day before the game, the night before, we're sitting up going through all the plays, and he's got 46 set plays. Okay, but and we ain't guarding all that. We're not going to go through them the day before a game. We just came out of a freaking war. We can't be on the floor that long the day before we play them. And so we're looking at this, and I really believe in cutting off the head. Like, I'm gonna figure out what you really like to do. Because everybody's got all their plays they like, but they all fit the same kind of scenario. Like one of the teams in our league, Loyola, at the time, they would do all this stuff in the middle third of the floor, but they like to go from point to wing and then top side it through the high post. Well, we just switched everything and stood somebody in the high post, and it never got thrown there. That was the end of that. We didn't have to guard any other plays. So with Bill's team, what we did is we just didn't allow them to throw it to the high post. Almost about 38 of their 42 plays or 45 plays all went through the first entry pass, had to go to the high post. So we just took that away. And that limited how many they were doing. The thing the buzz does, I'm not guarding all your ball screen stuff. If you've got something that I know as a coach, as a long teach, that you're running offensively, like if you're running Princeton, you ain't running Princeton against me because you're not going to get to run it, because you can't run anything set plays against the buzz. You have to play basketball. So I'm not guarding Princeton. I'm not guarding that freaking dribble drive where you spread us out with your space and pace. I'm not guarding that. I'm not going to guard ball screen motion with the 9 different ways to guard a ball screen. I'm not going to fuss with that. I'm just going to run the buzz, and you can't run all that stuff. Or I'm going to run a Fresno matchup with it, and everything's based on home bases. And you can have all your pretty little plays, but you ain't going to get to run them, because we're going to be standing right where you are on all that stuff. And so many people spend how much time in their practice. Heard Hubie Brown talk about a great, great story. And I can't remember, Coach, maybe you remember this, but Hubie was just getting his first start in Division I coaching. And the first day of practice, the head coach gave Hubie an old tape and an 8mm. And he said, go watch this. And I want you to watch the first half of this game and tell me how many possessions they score in transition and how many they score in a half court set. And he said, I watched that. And he said, I was shocked. He said less than 5% of their possessions were half court man-to-man plays or actions, right? The other 95% of the half was all in transition, either primary or secondary kind of flow action. It was all transition. He said, but what do people spend 90% of their practice time on? Half court man-to-man offense.
Right.
Yep.
Especially if you run some pretty complex, That's why I'm an old believer in the KISS principle.
I got you. Keep it simple, stupid. That's it.
Simple, stupid. Yeah. And
Coaches,
that's what everybody calls you when you get your butt beat. Stupid.
Oh, yeah.
that's right. That's right. Hey, before you go, Mike and Jim, I have one question for you. I know it's been I know you guys got to go, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Jim, question is this. I heard a great, and I'm one of those that I listen to basketball podcast. I'm a junkie, by the way. I know you guys are too. That's why I think I have a lot of respect for you guys. I listened to a podcast today, and the guy was mentioning that everybody now, the game is taught now off the dribble and the drive, and we don't have enough teaching the actual spot up shooting. And I thought about that going, God, that's so true. I mean, everybody's off the dribble, off the bounce. Jim, what's your philosophy? I mean, I know you teach shooting, but how much, I don't think we have enough good shooters on that. What's your philosophy on that? And you utilizing the dribble drive, you teach both.
I'll do both. I'll do both. You know what I mean? I said, the game is so simple. The offensive game, what are you trying to do? You're trying to be able to create a shot for yourself or your teammate, not your opponent. Okay. So when we create this, you watch these games and you see these passes for a catch and shoot. And I'm sitting there going, shot. He's wide open, but he don't shoot. He's wide open, but he don't shoot. He's wide open, he don't shoot. And so I'm thinking, well, why ain't he shooting? And here's the biggest reason. None of them are ready to shoot.
Right.
They're ready to
With their
catch
feet.
it, then get ready to shoot. Too late for that. Okay. So why don't just take the simple thing? I mean, guy's going to be, but see, the biggest thing is they don't talk with their hands. See, they're standing there, their hands are down, then they reach. Okay. So they don't have a good grip. So, again, here's the point I'm going to make. Here's the next point. Think about this. Did you know that basketball is the only sport that doesn't have individualized coaches? Think about it. Okay. Where's the shooting coach? Where's the offensive skills coach for the whatever team? Where's the, they don't have it. So what do teams, when your shots don't fall, usually your team does. So what gets every team? Can't score. Or they play really good, then they have one bad game where somebody switches up on them. They might throw the buzz on them, throw something on them, and bam, they're going home. But see, they don't really work on shot preparation. They don't work on being ready. They're working on catch the ball and then create. That's what you see. Catch, create. Catch, create. You watch young kids play. As soon as you throw them a pass, first thing you do is dribble. They just put it on the floor, okay? Because they can't stop and look and recognize what they got. Now, again, there's ways to teach that to make that happen. But, a lot of it is just shot preparation away from the ball and being ready. And the second thing is the pass has got to be made above their waist. Passing is so bad. Okay, you watch somebody throw the great pass and the guy's ready to shoot, it usually ends up in a great shot. That's what I see. And I watch this and I go, guy makes a great pass and the guy shoots it and he scores. And the announcer never understands that guy was in correct position. He was shot ready. That's a new term they use all the time. Shot ready. Okay. And shot ready is like the catcher. The passer is the pitcher. Your job is to put the ball right there. And if you do, we're going to have a good result. But I don't see that. And I go watch practices. I go watch college practices. I got college players that come in and work out with me during the season, just working on catching and shooting, being ready, coming off flare screens, you know what I mean? Coming on the backside, hitting that catch and shoot, defense goes under, I'm going to stick it in your face. So we work on all that kind of stuff. But realistically, in a practice, nobody ever works on that stuff. They don't have the coaches, that they don't have the creativity to do these things. They're really boring coaches. Most of them are boring as crap. Okay. And what do you think the players are? We do the same stuff every day. The coach didn't tell you that. He don't tell us nothing. I had a girl in Notre Dame. I had a girl in here from Notre Dame. She starts for Notre Dame. Her name is Maddie Westbell. And her dad says she and her sister played on the national championship team, plays in Europe. She comes in here, works out with me. She said, Coach, Dad, I'm not learning a thing. I've got to go seek people to teach me other than my coaching staff. They don't have that direct person that knows how to be in the coach's pocket. Hey, this is what we need for these guys to be able to score. Can we get that done? We're not interested in slumps. Slumps don't start here. Okay, they end here. All right, and that's just something people don't really think about. How did the game get like this? Football, you got 800 coaches. Baseball, you got a hitting coach, a pitching coach, an outfield coach, whatever kind of coach. You got a swing coach, you got a tennis coach. But in basketball, you got a bunch of guys sit over there and put numbers on papers. You know what I mean? I got a stat guy that can give me that. Shit, I don't need that. I need somebody who can coach these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you ain't getting better, you're getting bitter. That's why they're all pissed and leaving. Okay, because if they're getting better, they stay, man.
For sure, for sure.
I train pros. And they slam the ball down. I go, what's wrong with you? They go, why didn't somebody teach me this like 6 years ago? I said, I can't answer that question. You was in the wrong state, man. You need to come to West Virginia. I could have hooked you up. Right? But now, they're pissed.
Bobby Huggins.
And his teams can't shoot a lick, and he can't coach.
Exactly. Hey, Bob needs to go to you, man.
Oh, man, I told him. I was doing a clinic with him down at Orlando at UCF, but he was late because he first time he ever tried to do something on his own. And he came in and I was sitting there. Of course, I was speaking the next day and he goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I came down here to teach players how to shoot." And so but his teams can't shoot. His team's never been on great shooters. They just been pound defense, knock you down. It's like a heavyweight fight with him. Heavyweight fight. And you can't, in today's world, you can't win big games like that. These guys are better. They're better than that. But that's that shoot and catch and shoot, man. They got to work on that stuff. They got to work on it. They got to work on it. I mean, the defense is going to do two things. They're going to get in your space, or they're going to give you space.
Right.
And you got to recognize which one they're going to do. Quickly, like Coach said.
Coach,
quickly.
Have you seen any of the 0-second read stuff from Basketball Immersion?
No, never.
Or it's talking about, that's really good stuff. Or Pasquale, Renato Pasquale from Italy, the 1 second advantage drills and stuff. It all ties together. It's really good. So his thing is, he really believes that you shoot the ball, before you catch it, you're going to shoot it.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to be ready, head, hands, and feet.
Yep.
So I teach shooting threes with your catch the ball with your feet in the air, but your shooting foot behind you, and then step into your three.
That's
but
why
I want your hands up, and you got to know before you catch the ball that you're going to shoot it. Never shoot as an afterthought. So that 0-second read stuff, catch it, you shoot it, drive it, or move it.
Right.
And that's the 0-second read. And you will never be more open than when you first catch the ball. And so you're either shooting it, or you're driving it, or you're moving it. And Renato Pasquale's 1 second advantage drills, you can just find those on YouTube. They're really good.
I'll look them up.
There's some great ones. It's state of the art stuff, and Pasquale started doing it 30 years ago.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, this stuff's been around, and everybody's thinking, well, that ain't cool enough. That ain't this. Well, I'm gonna tell you, by God, you get that ball in that basket, and that percentage is up, and you're making 90% foul line instead of 55. You're a flunky shooter, okay? And I'm just going like, how are you paying these people to do this stuff? In the real world, they'd be fired. They just fire them. Get on out of here. I'm gonna get somebody else. But in sports, they just keep paying them. I just go, oh man.
And Westbeld's older sister, we wanted her at Illinois. We recruited her when I was
Catherine. Oh yeah, man. See, Catherine. See, I was good friends with Therese Prince at Illinois when she was there. Therese was a really, really good friend of mine. And Catherine was a heck of a player. Now she's got a son, a younger brother, Ben, that's about 6'7". Dad's about 6'9". Mom's about 6'2". They got good genes.
You recruit that family for sure.
Oh man. And I mean, she's athletic. She can do it all, man. And it's like, but I've had so many players tell me that, because I ain't getting no better. I just stand around and clap. Yeah. You're a glorified passer. You're a cheerleader. You know what I mean? Pom-poms, rah, brewery. Yeah, whatever. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in results. I'm not interested in
interesting clinic.
Yeah, I'm not interested in activity. I'm interested in productivity. What are we doing? Producing.
Coaches, man, I know we can talk all day with you guys, man, but we're excited to have you down. And I want you guys to really push it on your end too. I know the coaches from Buford will be there to kind of check you guys out. The assistant at Buford. And actually, Mike, she ran the Buzz this year.
Yeah, they did.
She came down, she ran it, and I have tape of it. They ran it really good.
I saw a little, she shared some tape with me. And I like the way they did it. They did a good job of it.
I can't wait to see it. I have no clue. Yeah. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm just going to wait till you teach it, Coach. Be like this. I'm going to be like this. And I'm going to bring the Buzz back to West Virginia.
If you add that to Sports City U, the women's club team, I'll
put it right in.
I won't tell who called, but like I go around to college programs occasionally, somebody will call me and ask me to come put it in. And somebody asked me a couple of years ago, and she called and I won't tell you who, but she goes, you think it'll help us? And I said, with the athletes you're getting where you are, you'll win national championship. It's that simple. Yeah. And they never brought me, but they would win a national championship with the horses they have and athletes, and you add that piece to it. Because I mean, you're gonna, with the Buzz, you're gonna win every game you're supposed to. You know what I mean? Think about that. You're gonna win every game you're supposed to,
I can't wait to see
which
this.
is really pressure. You know, those are the hardest games to coach, the ones everybody knows you should win. And then you're gonna upset people that have more talent than you do a lot.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
All right, guys. Hey,
that's enough for me.
absolutely. Hey, May 6th, we start at 8:30 in the morning, and we just get after it, guys, on that. And I know a lot of coaches are going to be excited about
Good.
either checking it out on video or live at Duluth Middle School. So thank you, guys. I appreciate you all coming on.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Look forward to
See you,
it.
Coach Nick.